Did you listen to Jeff and Professor Hamo in the morning? Here's what you missed.
So there was an issue along the way, but then it was quickly corrected thanks to intervention from the very top. And the guys at KETRACO started cabling, like literally day and night, using drones, using all kinds of modern equipment. Last Friday, that plant was switched on officially, bringing together 310 megawatts of electricity all the way to Suswa.
That's a huge boost.
Huge. And lots of savings as well. We have the MD CEO of KETRACO live in the studio today, my good friend Fernandes Barasa in the house. Wanna see you. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Pleasure.
You seem very excited that this
Finally,
Finally happened.
of course.
lakini kulikuwa pressure, sio?
Pressure kabisa. Yeah.
But in the end, how was it? Explain. How was the commissioning on Friday?
The commissioning was quite colorful. In fact, we really enjoyed every moment of it. Yeah.
And we're talking about 310 megawatts onto the national grid.
Yes.
Sasa tumefika ngapi?
The highest we've received is 285. In fact, on Friday, we were doing 270 megawatts. Thursday night, we were doing 285 megawatts.
So we're talking about a lot of wind.
Exactly.
Upepo ni mingi.
Kabisa.
And I mean, I've been to that place. This thing looks like it's the largest wind farm in Africa.
Oh,
right?
Yes.
It's the largest wind farm.
You know, we saw the pictures. I can imagine the feeling ukiwa kwa ground.
Watch hivyo. Once they start spinning.
These things, we used to think as well they happen.
Yes.
And you know, 7 counties away.
But CEO, tell us how important is this for Kenya? I mean, we are sitting here talking about how fantastic a thing it is, but the bigger picture, how important is it for this country?
Now, when you look at these power plants, of course, the fact that it's the biggest in Africa, it puts us on the global map. We are now generating from a single largest, of course, power plant. On the power mix, it's giving us almost 15% of our installed capacity. By there, our installed capacity at the moment is 2,712 megawatts. So that's giving us almost 15%.
Wow.
Now, from the KETRACO side, of course, the line comes in, giving us a lot of stability and quality of power. Because for manufacturers, what they want is power that is quality and stable and reliable. You don't want to go in a barber shop and then you find you're not sure whether
katikati ya kunyolewa unakuwa na kipara.
Utakuwa kama Boris Johnson mwingine ule wa North Korea. Ukiingia kwa baba.
Yes. You are not sure kama nitamaliziwa hii style yangu.
And of course, CEO, the power is green, the energy is green, which also makes it even better for us. So tell me something, hiyo shida mulikuwa nayo before, the cabling, you know, the cabler before went bankrupt after a while, the Spanish company. Have you made up for, is it gonna, obviously it added costs when you brought in these new people to cable. Are you going to make money from it? That's what we're trying to find out. Will it be economically feasible and viable?
When you look at the numbers, this project, I can say it's both economical and financially viable.
Okay.
Take, for example, the savings that we have achieved so far on fuel cost charge. For 9 months, we were talking about 8.5 billion Kenya shillings. That is savings. Already. We have an estimated around 15 billion per year on savings. So when you combine the costs of the plant and the costs of the line, it's around 110 billion Kenya shillings. So you can clearly see that in less than 10 years, we'll break even.
Wow.
The beauty of it.
Because initially, the investors put in 80 billion shillings.
Okay.
It was two thicker superhighways and change.
Could set up,
another 30 billion to cable. So that's 110 billion.
Okay.
If you're saving 15 billion a year,
Yeah.
10 years you 150.
Yes. Good to go.
That's good, huh?
Uh-huh.
And also, when the power comes in, some people say that Kenya has, we have overproduced power, whatever that means. Can we export? What do we do with the excess power we have?
Now we already have some regional interconnectors which are ongoing.
Okay.
The first one is Ethiopia-Kenya interconnector. We refer to it as Eastern Electricity Highway Project. We are doing it from Suswa all the way to the border in Sodo. This line is 612 kilometers from the Kenyan side and 200 kilometers from the Ethiopian side.
So 800 kilometers and change.
Yes. Now, we have done so far 90% construction.
Yeah.
We expect it to be completed by April next year. So expect another grand commissioning ceremony between two countries happening next year.
And that can be import and export. That's two lines.
Exactly. In fact, the essence is to either import or export power. When we have excess with Hamo, we can sell to Ethiopia. By the way, Ethiopia was rationing for the last 2 months. We had some issues of hydro.
Okay.
So with this interconnector on board, we're definitely going to use it for regional power trade.
Do you know it's like going from Mombasa to Kisumu?
600 kilometers.
800.
You see? Hey.
See, 800.
That's Mombasa.
Mombasa almost to Kisumu.
Yes. The rest tunatembea. Ni hapo tu. Umeona juu Kisumu.
My goodness.
Alafu the terrain, eh?
Speaking of terrain, wanna see your terrain.
Yeah.
Tell us about how many counties from Loyangalani to Suswa, because we were arguing here last week.
Yes.
Mtu anasema 5, mwingine anasema 6.
Yes.
Tell how many counties and what are they?
Yeah. Actually, this line is traversing 7 counties. We are starting with Marsabit.
I was right. Marsabit.
Come to Samburu, Laikipia, Nyandarua, Nakuru, Narok, and finally Kajiado.
Kajiado as well.
Yes.
So Suswa iko Kajiado.
Iko Kajiado County.
Kajiado West. That's
7
where we have our substation.
7 counties.
Yes.
And in the beginning, we were being told the distance was 428 kilometers. How come it ended up as 435? Or are those details?
Now, initially, yes, it was 428 kilometers. But because of some geotechnical issues and engineering, there was some rerouting of 7 kilometers. So now ended up to be 435 kilometers. Yeah.
Kama ile naonaga hapo Kinungi. You see, imetoka mlimani huko.
Yes.
You know, hiyo ni ile tunaonaga. The terrain is not that bad. Sasa imagine ile ndani.
Deep in the rift.
Oh, yes.
What does this mean for Kenya overall, Bonasio? Because, some people don't appreciate some of the work going on. And sometimes you have to give credit where it's due.
Oh, of course.
What does this mean for Kenya?
Now, this line, of course, is very significant. By the way, it's the second longest line that KETRACO has done. The first one was Mombasa-Nairobi, 485 kilometers. That one was commissioned by the president in 2017. Now, this Loyangalani Suswa is the second longest at 435 kilometers. And overall, of course, we are looking at a line which, number one, is going to stabilize power.
Okay.
Number two, we're even going to have other local connections. My CS promised to connect the local towns, starting from South Hor. We'll now give them power using that 3 kilovolts line coming from Loyangalani substation. We'll also have some small lines like 40 kilometers from that substation to Marsabit. Again, it will definitely support the local communities around there.
By the way, South Horde, mahali kama huko, they have never seen power in their lives.
Hata wana hiyo idea kama wanahitaji.
Ati usiku.
Wamekuwa na mashida na wamezoea.
But can you imagine what it will do though?
Oh yes. Si ni watu wanatumia generator huko. So you're talking about stability. Yeye wajaiona.
Game changer.
So biashara ni nayo.
Game changer.
Oh man.
mutawapatia paka the last mile or whatever it is you call it.
Mile.
Yeah.
In fact, like Turkana, there's a lot of fish farming that is going on there. So issues around preservation, biashara ya samaki.
Wafungue kampuni huko sasa.
Pisa.
And they can freeze them there, and they can,
You know what?
But that lake is completely underutilized.
There was
So
nobody
it
there.
can change the economy of the entire region.
Definitely.
And Bonasio, is there? I hear. I think it's Samburu County. They have another place. I think it's by the valley. What's it called? Suguta Valley.
Suguta.
Yes,
where
yes.
there's even stronger winds. Uko, is it true?
Yeah, in fact, we also have some other sites which we have prepared to evacuate power. The rating of this line is 2,000 megawatts. So what you're doing with Luangalani Suswa, you can clearly see it's just a fraction of what the line can do.
With this 310.
Yes.
So you can add on to it.
You can add on to it if you have any future generation,
Yes.
either from solar, winds, or even geothermal. The line will still carry to the national grid.
And what do you mean by evacuate? Kwani kuna passengers huko?
Huko inateseka. Kuna power inateseka kwa valley. Suguta. So inataka kuletwa ijumuike na power nyingine ambayo iko Kenya. We're evacuating.
Who are you evacuating?
Yeah, that's a terminology that we use in a technical terminology. Just moving power, transporting power from the generation point to the load center for distribution. Yes.
So
that's how the evacuation now.
Yes.
It all comes to Suswa, then inaambiwa haya waenda na sukuma huku.
In the western, in the Ethiopia, in the coast.
Now, what about other East African countries? Are we planning to have those kinds of
arrangement?
Yeah, with them.
In fact, we have another interconnector we are doing from Kenya to Tanzania. It's a 96-kilometer line.
Hiyo ni ndogo.
Unajua Suswa iko karibu na kwao.
Oh, okay.
Hiyo ndio bahati.
Yeah, this one will start from Isinya to Namanga. So far the contractor is on site and we expect it to be done by June next year.
Okay.
Again, it's being done by a Chinese company. But the funding from African Development Bank is what we are using. Kenya, Uganda, we have Lesos Tororo, another interconnector that we are doing to connect Kenya and Uganda.
Okay.
So you can clearly see that the East African countries, there's something called East African Power Pool. That is now the pool that supports the electricity exchange within the East African countries. So that will be facilitated by the regional interconnectors we're doing.
And Suswa will be ground zero. It'll be the base.
That is now I call it the nerve center.
The nerve center.
Yes.
Evacuating power.
Yes.
And can it sustain Suswa? Can it sustain all this power coming in, going out?
Yes. In fact, right now, what we're trying to do is also to improve the network by having 400 kilovolts of substations around Nairobi, starting from Isinya. There's something called a reinforcement program project we're doing, funded by World Bank at the substation in Isinya. So that when we get this power, the Ethiopian power is 400 HVDC, high voltage direct current, near Ethiopia.
As opposed to
AC.
Oh,
okay.
So once it comes to Suswa, of course, for it now to move to Ethiopia, it will go through a reinforcement substation in Isinya.
Okay.
It's a 400 kilovolts. We're also doing another 400 kilovolt substation in Mariakani. So that when this power comes, moving at 400, you will minimize the transmission losses. Yes.
Ikifika ina boostiwa.
Yes, ndio hiyo.
Inafika inachangamshwa. Mchecheto inaendelea. Unajua kuna losses kwa barabara. Flax nini?
Yeah.
So ikifika hapo na tuende tena.
Na ninywe.
Inaongeza ndio ikifika huko isifike tena imekuwa na unyonge. Isingie kitanzania. Ingie kitaifa star. Wow. So substations kuna zile tumekuwa tukiona in Nakuru wapi.
These are 132.
Oh, those ones are
Those
smaller.
are 220.
What?
Yeah.
Hey, this is beautiful.
It's a big deal. Huh?
It is.
This is changing the whole landscape, huh?
Exactly.
Tell me something. You said capacity in the country right now is 2,700 and change, right? Megawatts.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
By the way, if you compare it to South Africa, I think they're like 40,000 megawatts or so. Which,
Kwa hivyo tunaendelea
bado tuko mbali.
Yeah.
Pole pole, sio?
Pole pole.
But we've started. You know?
Okay, what's the goal for 5 years or 10 years? How many megawatts total?
Now, what I know is in the next 5 years, I know we'll be doing around 5,000 megawatts. And that is why we are now expanding the network to have the 400 kilovolt substations around the country.
Okay.
We'll be having another 400 kilovolt substation in Lessos, basically to take care of the regional fraud in Western. There'll be another 400 kilovolt substation in Kilgi, and then another 400 in Kimuka, in Kajiado West. So that will be able to absorb the 5,000, because what you need to do is, before you bring in more, you need to have a network that can absorb all this power. Yes.
Otherwise mutachoma.
Yeah.
Mutachoma line.
Tena tunaanza kuunda tena kitu tulitengeneza na shida mingi.
Alafu ikifika.
But the beauty of it, unajua kama industries how they spend energy, alafu to affect sisi. The end product unaongezewa biashara.
KPLC ni system unalipa.
Sisi ndio tunaona moto.
Manufacturing.
Yes.
We've always complained that there's a power problem in this country. What happens now? Does this ease the problems?
In fact, KETRACO will be the solution to manufacturing. Because what manufacturers are looking for is a stable and reliable power. Before you set up any serious power factory, or rather company around, you want to be assured that power is stable and reliable. For example, cement factories in Athi River. When you go there right now, they're smiling all the way because we've never had power blackouts. After our line from Suswa, Isinya, Embakasi up to Mombasa was commissioned in 2017. So Athi River, they're smiling all the way. Steel manufacturers can now set up factories because they're assured of stable and reliable power. By the way, it's very expensive when we call them power dips.
Dips,
during a manufacturing process of steel. Because they lose the entire substance they're manufacturing. So they want to be assured that power will be stable before they now set up those factories, because it's very expensive to have power that is intermittent.
Correct. By the way, Barasa, the other day, I was talking about South Africa, right? Even they have what they call brownouts. With all that power in that country, they still have brownouts. See blackout?
Why?
Brown, just some hours. See blackout.
Black.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're right. I mean, even in countries that have a lot more, they still have issues. Huh? The other day, Venezuela had an entire country blackout. The whole country.
They need KETRACO. KETRACO needs to go.
Barasa needs to do a benchmarking.
Yes. Watu wakuje watuone. Unajua watu wanaenda benchmarking sijui nchi gani. They need to come and see.
Major Jones Obiero on Twitter says, I must congratulate CEA Fernandes. Good work. I have never known the difference between KETRACO and KENGEN. How is the mandate differentiated? Before you answer that, he goes on to say, I hope one day we won't wake up with a scandal on you, Fernandes, like other government entities.
Thank you kwa hayo maombi.
Yes.
Sai tu ndio tumetoka kuomba.
Correct. You've done so well. Alafu siku moja,
Ilete 15 million. Urudi huko.
Hiyo ni bail.
Tunaomba.
Umesikia Barasa?
Watu wanakuombea.
So KETRACO, KENGEN.
Yeah, very well. When you look at the, we call it the supply chain within the energy sector, generation of power is done by KENGEN, largely, and IPPs. For example, Turkana is an IPP, independent power producer.
Correct.
After generation is done, that power is stepped up from 33 kilovolts to 132 or 220 for transmission or evacuation now.
Yes.
So it's now KETRACO that will transport that power from the generation point to a substation for distribution. So the process of moving that power from generation to distribution is transmission. And that role is done by KETRACO.
There's nobody else who can do this. I mean, this,
Nobody.
what do you mean? This is a monopoly.
Not really a monopoly. Okay, when you benchmark
Yes.
globally, all the utility companies which are doing transmission are national carriers.
Yeah. For obvious reasons, for
Obvious
security.
reasons.
For
Strategic, exactly.
And KETRACO stands for Kenya Energy
No, Kenya Electricity Transmission Company.
Kenya Electricity Transmission.
Yes.
Wamutego Jr. on Twitter says, I visited the amazing wind power site 2 weeks ago, and I'm glad to know that there are plans to connect South Hor and the community in Laisamis. It is important that the community also benefits from great projects. Kudos. That was a big concern with the local communities. How are they going to benefit from all this? Because some of them were evacuated, not power, but not hourly.
Please.
So they will. You can assure us that they will get power.
Absolutely. Yeah. In fact, when you look at what you have done is provide the infrastructure. Kenya Power now will connect at that 3 kilo. That's a distribution line from the substation to the local towns, because we have now put a foundation. Yeah.
John Gurugwe in Doha, Qatar says, this is a great move for Kenya, being the biggest wind farm in Africa. I would expect the same in terms of energy affordability. Available and affordable energy to all will be icing on the cake. What do you say, Bwana Barasa?
Well, in fact, when you look at the countries within East Africa, I can say that Kenya is leading in terms of affordability, because the average consumer tariff is at 13 shillings per kilowatt hour.
13 shillings.
13 shillings. Of course, the more we bring renewable energy to the mix, Lake Turkana is 8 shillings per kilowatt hour. Wind we are getting at 6 per kilowatt hour. Hydro is at 4 to 5. So the more we bring on board renewable sources of energy, you can be sure we'll be doing under 10 shillings per kilowatt hour.
Na mbona bili yangu bado ni 30,000?
Bado unapitia ngoli.
35,000.
No.
Na sina factory nyumbani.
Unaota hita.
Bwana Barasa, I want to pay 5 shillings a kilo. Bili yangu ni 32, 33.
Watu wa token hii hata waongei.
Haishuki.
Ushapigia mtu simu unasikia token inalia, hiyo mashini ya token. Unaweza fikiria anapiga reverse. Shida.
Kama gari.
So when do we start enjoying?
Yes, we all want to know.
I think this is a conversation that mine is to give assurance. Of course, I know EPRA, the regulator, is the one in charge of communicating on the tariffs. But of course, I'm sure EPRA is listening, because when you have all these savings from FCC, then in the medium term, we should expect some tariffs to definitely reduce. Yeah.
There was a point the investor was quite concerned about their investment. Have they been reassured now? You know, these are guys at Lake Turkana Wind Power. Have they been reassured? Wameona kuna benefits?
Of course, when you look at the savings and the fact that now they're able to get paid on monthly basis on whatever that they bring to the grid, definitely they are also smiling on the way. Yeah.
Are there plans to extend? You know, you were talking about the other areas around there to boost this 310 megawatts.
To evacuate more.
Are you inviting people to come in?
Yeah. Now what you have done is provide that infrastructure. As I said, the capacity of the line is 2,000 megawatts. So anybody who wants to, let's say, set up a new power generation company, either wind, solar, or if Lake Turkana wants to increase the capacity, They just need to have a discussion with the regulator, and the infrastructure is already there. So we will do another line.
Yeah.
Yes. We have actually planned for the next 10 years in terms of absorbing whatever they will come on board. Yes.
Moses Kimngetich is in Baringo County. This land haikupitia Baringo.
Here.
Okay.
In your
He says
opinion.
the Loyangalani wind power generation is a real game changer. I hope the bill will reflect, or rather will be pocket friendly in the end. Kudos, Barasa. He says kudos.
There is also e-story of fiber optic cable. Is it running the same?
In fact, the line has 2 circuits. On either side, we have a fiber cable that's running all the way from Langalani up to Suswa. Already we are getting inquiries from telecom users to connect our fiber, that fiber. So again, in terms of communication, e-commerce, e-learning, that will be improved because of this line.
Okay, there's a guy called the Master Kazi here. Master Kazi says the MD here says Northern Kenya has more untapped wind capacity. We also have untapped geothermal capacity in the Rift Valley, plus solar as well. The question is, why is the government considering the Lamu coal plant?
Well, what I know is energy mix, when you have more sources of energy, it basically improves the quality of power. Coal power is very stable, by the way. It's even more stable than wind. So one thing that I want to just give assurance to consumers out there, that when we get coal power in the generation mix, it is going to improve the stability of the energy mix. So it's good for the country.
But then it's fossil fuel, right?
Well, what I know is, of course, the generation, they'll make it scientific so that to mitigate against any effects of the fossil fuels.
With modern technology.
Exactly.
Kwa hivyo uendelee tu na hiyo kazi.
Endelee.
The more the merrier.
Yes.
And by the way, KETRACO, we are already ready to ever get that power.
Huh?
Muko tayari huko?
Tuko
Na
tayari.
ambulance.
If they start generation, we'll start the line.
And it will be from Lamu to Suswa or Mutepeleka?
Lamu up to Nairobi East. Yes.
How many kilometers?
400 and, no, 5 or 2 kilometers.
Msee anajua namba zake.
Ankorada.
Msee anajua namba
Ndio
zake.
maana haonekani.
502.
Amuonagi kwa news. Mnaonaga cable. He's busy working on numbers. That's the beauty of it.
Yeye ndiye anakibu mwenyewe.
Ankorada.
Okay, Max here anauliza, why do we have power generators still being constructed? Lately I've seen one in Athi River. Anasema ati cartels who still want to work with the ERC to loot Kenyans through fuel charge. Hey Max bana, relax. What is this nini? Power generator Athi River. Kuna moja Athi River?
Now what I know is we still have generation. You remember we are talking about 2,700. So for us now to go to 5,000,
Yes.
definitely we still have to encourage more generation to come on board. Yeah,
As much as we can get.
exactly.
And,
Yes.
and the geothermal, is that also being tapped more? Because, you know, we had that
In
one.
fact, geothermal potential, by the way, is almost 10,000 megawatts.
Wow.
So we are just scratching the surface so far. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
And they keep talking about other things.
Yeah.
Kumbe tuko na mambo mazuri hapa. Sio? It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
That's you know, the problem is we never talk about the good news coming out of this country. Bwana Barasa, you people need to make noise. As long as you don't have a scandal on your doorstep, you know.
Wacha cable ipotee. Ndio tutaongea kuhusu KETRACO. Sasa hivi don't care.
Sasa hivi tuna power.
Tuko na shida. We need to change. Kenyans. Yeah?
Keep the tweets coming at Koinange Jeff.
At Hamo Prof.
At hot_96 Kenya with the hashtag.
Jeff and Hamo on hot.
We're talking to the MD CEO of KETRACO,
Yeah.
Kenya Electricity Transmission Company, that have just laid a cable all the way from Loyangalani.
Catch Jeff Koinange and Professor Hamo every day, Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. only on Hot 96.